Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for our weekly press briefing. These are critically important to our residents to understand the happenings within our city and to get information that is necessary to their quality of life. With that, the first subject that we have to discuss is the Blight Elimination Program. This is a program that has been anticipated for quite some time, and we're eager to see it pushing forward. I want to thank the good people in our Planning and Development Department who have been working diligently on this effort. We're grateful for the resources that help us to execute this Blight Elimination Program, and we're grateful to our Blight partners. In the interest of COVID, all of these wonderful people that we see here, we probably won't line them all up, but I do encourage you to speak with them on a one-on-one basis so that they can talk about what this program means to them, the various roles that they are playing within the Blight Elimination Program. But at this time, I'd like to step aside and ask if Jordan Hillman, our Planning and Development Director, can come and share a few more details on the Blight Elimination Program.
Good afternoon. My name is Jordan Hillman, and I'm the Director of Planning here at the City of Jackson. First today, I want to take just a minute to thank our team with the Housing and Community Development Department, specifically Dr. Robbie Smith, for all their work on this project. It was a paperwork-intensive ordeal, and we are very thankful for their leadership and their efforts in helping us get to this point. And we also want to take a minute to just say thank you to our Blight partners. There would be no program without you, and I know that each of you went through quite the ordeal and stress as we made it through getting this funding and getting these properties demolished. So to highlight the program, the Blight Elimination Program successfully demolished 117 properties in 6 of the 7 wards in the city. This was done through partnerships with organizations, Midtown Partners, she's back in the corner, Habitat, Voice of Calvary, and Design Build. Without these partners, there was nothing that would have been done because the Blight Elimination Program required us to have a community partner in order to actually access the money. The Blight Elimination Program was administered by the Mississippi Home Corps. Specifically, we would like to thank Adina Byers and Lisa Coleman for their help in administering our particular program. The City of Jackson received just under $3 million in funding from this program. The Blight Elimination funding was used for acquisition, title cleanup, demolition, and will be used for ongoing maintenance for up to 3 years. This program was not at all easy to administer, but it did include a critical component which was title cleanup. Cleaning up title is a major challenge to restoring property to useful state, so we're very appreciative that this program actually included that in its funding. I would like to look forward to how our partners will continue their work and their ongoing maintenance and actually to see how these properties get reused as we move forward over the next few years. Right now, I'd like to turn it over to our Deputy Director of Housing and Community Development, Valerie Tucker, to speak further about this program.
Well, that's how I wanted to get caught on the mask, on my earring. So, good afternoon, everybody. The Blight Elimination Program, as Jordan has previously stated, was very, very labor intensive. And it took a lot of coordination and a lot of work from all of our partners, including in-house staff. Specifically, our Blight partners, Voice of Calvary Ministries, here to represent them are the following people. Margaret Johnson is the president and CEO of Voice of Calvary Ministries. Ronald Crudup Jr. is a board member. Michael Cohen was instrumental in inspecting properties before and after they were demolished. Sandra Thompson did a lot of the intensive paperwork. And then Phil Reed is president and CEO emeritus. And the program started with him in that position and then transferred over to Margaret. Midtown Partners, Christina Hendricks, was basically a one-woman show, so she did a lot of intensive work. For Habitat for Humanity, their executive director, Meryl McEwen, could not be here, but Jamie Bowie, the person who worked the hardest on the program, is here representing Habitat for Humanity. And then Design Build Solutions, which was a unique partnership of several different organizations, including Rosemont Baptist Church and Revitalize Mississippi. From those organizations, here is Andy Frame, Stacy Donaldson, Jimmy Edwards, Johnny Addison, Cindy Ayers, and Jim Johnston. Right now, I would like for Christina Hendricks is going to offer a few words, and then following her would be Andy Frame.
Good afternoon. I'm Christina Hendricks, the Executive Director of Midtown Partners, and I'm here representing Midtown and the Blight Program and the work that we did in Midtown. A special thanks goes out to all of those that were involved in this program because it was very labor intensive. A special thanks to the mayor in seeing the vision to apply for this money. A special thanks to the planning department, community development department, who played an instrumental role in helping us get to the finish line, and also to Mississippi Home Corps to meet the deadlines and to make sure that we had everything in. And while others were shopping and enjoying their Christmas Eves and New Year's Eves, we were actually in the office and communicating to try to get the last bit of paperwork done in order to meet that December 31 deadline. So a special thanks to all in making this happen. While Midtown only represented a small fraction of the project within the city of Jackson, we still received well over $100,000 towards this project. Sometimes we think that it would be relatively inexpensive to take down these blighted projects, but by the time you acquire them, you do the environmentals, you abate the asbestos. Most of these buildings have asbestos. You demo, you do the cleanup, you clean up the title, you pay the liens, you pay the back taxes. Sometimes you have well over $20,000 invested in a property that you would only get a fraction of that back. So projects like this and programs like this are very important to organizations to be able to do this work within our neighborhoods without placing that financial burden upon us. We were very fortunate in several of these properties we already owned, and we had invested that money in ourselves, but they had been sitting boarded up waiting for an opportunity such as this. So again, thank you to all who were involved in making this happen, and we look forward to continuing the work within the city of Jackson. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Andy Frame. I'm the Executive Director of Revitalize Mississippi, and our mission at Revitalize Mississippi is to clean up blight, clean up abandoned and problem properties in the city, and help neighborhoods build back stronger. So when this program came out several years ago, we thought, you know, it's the perfect thing for us to work on and make sure that it was a success. And it's really a great feeling to be on this end of it and see so many properties cleaned up, and so many properties that are now kind of a blank canvas for future development and turning a negative space in the community into a more productive space. It truly was, like, I know it's been repeated over and over again, but it truly was a taxing program from the beginning. And if it wasn't for the team effort of everyone working together and so many organizations and people working together, it would not have happened. It truly would not have been done. And so to add to some of the names, I just really want to thank Lisa Coleman and Ben Mokri with Mississippi Home Corps, and the attorneys that worked with them from Balch and Bingham, or Tara Ellis and Ben Bryant. They really helped us a lot. Valerie and Robbie with the city, I mean, I know that they were sleepless some nights with this program. Also the city attorneys, obviously. I mean, like, they're kind of the behind-the-scenes heroes on projects like this, where you have to get approval for things that they've never thought about, you know, in their day-to-day. Design Build Solutions, they're not here today. They're based in the Delta. They served as the blight partner around the state. They served at about 6 different communities: Yazoo, Drew, Shaw, Greenwood, and then the biggest program they did was in Jackson, where we cleaned up 49 properties partnering with Rosemont Missionary Baptist Church and Rosemont Human Services. And Michelle Stadelman and Emily Roush Elliott both kind of headed this for Design Build. And they were just incredible. Like the amount of work they put into it, and I truly believe that they kind of carried this for the whole state. I mean, if it wasn't for that organization, I don't think it would have been a success. Rosemont, if it wasn't for Pastor Edwards' vision, they would not have been a partner here. And then so Rosemont and Design Build are now partners in helping rebuild the community around Rosemont Church and Lake Elementary School. And there are dozens of properties in that area now that can be turned into affordable housing with the vision of Pastor Edwards, Pastor Johnny Addison, Stacy Donaldson, Cindy Ayers. And then Revitalize Mississippi, we basically were there to just kind of shepherd this forward. And one of the things we did is we brought in Butler Snow Law Firm, and a few of the attorneys at Butler Snow really had some key, important moments where we kind of found the right state statute or the right regulation that really pushed this forward and cleared up a lot of title issues. Let me see, Robert Hutchison, Jeff Stansel, Reed Nunnally, and William Bettis all played key roles at Butler Snow. I mean, this is how many people worked on this, I'm serious. Walker Foundation, and Marcy Skelton specifically, Walker Foundation fronted through a low-interest loan some upfront money that allowed this to go forward with Design Build. Hope Enterprise, if it wasn't for Bill Bynum asking Design Build to get involved and recommending that Design Build get involved, then they wouldn't have been there. And Phil Idy was there kind of pushing along the way. And then being able to partner with Voice of Calvary and New Horizon it's great for us to be able to work together. I know people in Jackson say we're all in silos, but a program like this really did allow us to work hand in hand to accomplish something that's really going to make a big difference going forward in this community. And the work's not done. We've got right now, Revitalize Mississippi is partnering with Rosemont and with Voice of Calvary to do more cleanups in the same area and to turn these properties that were cleaned up into affordable housing and other productive spaces, parks and gardens and green spaces. So, and in that role, we're not just doing it as outsiders, we're partnering hand in hand with the people who live in the neighborhood. So this is what we like to do, and it's really rewarding to see it successful. So thank you all for being here.
Just to highlight the impact of this project, I've put some maps on the table. Feel free to take them. They show dots of where all the properties were. But Design Build focused their efforts in Wards 3, 4, and 5 in impacting West Jackson and the communities surrounding Rosemont Baptist Church and Lake Elementary. Voice of Calvary committed their work efforts in Wards 3 and 4 around the Jackson Zoo and Livingston Park. So the bulk of the project was actually in the Jackson Zoo, Livingston Park, Lake Elementary, Rosemont Baptist area. Midtown Partners, true to their vision, worked in the Midtown community in Ward 7, and Habitat dedicated their interests in Wards 3, 6, and 7, impacting the Broadmoor neighborhood, the Medical Mall area, and neighborhoods near J.C. Park, and communities surrounding St. Therese Elementary and Key Elementary schools. So with that said, we thank all of our partners, and we look forward to seeing what comes out of this program going forward as the properties become reused and go into building communities around them again. And we look forward to further cleanup efforts throughout our city and rebuilding our communities.
Once again, we want to express our gratitude to all of the people who put their hands in the dirt, so to speak, to make this happen. There was significant discussion about all of the title clearing work. Sometimes when we talk about blight elimination, we forget that a significant amount of work goes in prior to you seeing the tractor or any equipment that is demolishing the actual structures. And so this is important. It is important because it signals to community that we care. It signals to community that they are not abandoned and forgotten like some of these properties. I am grateful that the Blight Elimination Program mandates a blight partner. There are some areas where the city would just get the funding to handle some things, but I like the fact that this requires that we work in coordination and in collaboration with one another. And so this is merely our start. We want to see much more take place. And we want to also see, some shifts in how we address things as a state so that we can have an appetite to get to more of these structures. We need to have that conversation. We need to talk about how we eliminate some of this red tape so that the money that is put forth actually goes to serve the need of what it is intended to serve. And so once again, if you can just give yourselves a round of applause for your great work. The next area for discussion is the next phase of our water meter implementation, our water sewer billing, restructuring, a wholesale restructuring. And I want to make our residents aware that beginning tomorrow, which is Tuesday, August 10th, residents will start to see some of the first phase of that work to begin, where UMS will be out in the field taking photographs and surveying, doing some of the work that is required for the sample site plan in order to see the implementation of the water meters put in the ground. And so we want to make you aware of this, just in case you see some strange person in your yard. This is a part of the city's plan to install new water meters so that we can have a reliable, dependable water billing system that residents can rely on. Time and time again, residents ask me about bills that are either error, faulty bills, or bills that have been held for a significant period of time. The response that I have come to give them is that that will be the case until we're able to implement a new system with the redundancy, with the reliability that we need to see. And so we're happy to see this work taking place. This has been a long time coming, and so because we know that we all want to have a reliable bill, please be kind and courteous to the individuals that may show up in your yard in order to survey your meter and take in the critical data that is important to the next phase of this project. Also, since we're on water billing, I want to remind our residents of the available resources and programs that have been outlined in past press conferences, making our residents aware that there are resources available. If you have a past due bill, if you have significant debt in the water department, then there's a program available, more than likely for you, that you can take advantage of that allows you, in some instances, to pay your current bill plus $25, $10. I'm sorry, take 15 off of that. $10 in addition to that, and if you're able to maintain not only your current payment but that additional $10, then it allows us to offset that debt and clear the mountain of financial burden that is ahead of you. And so this is a truly helpful lift up to our residents. We're thankful to the state legislature. We're thankful to the Public Utility Commission and their support to help us outline this program. And we want to see robust participation in this regard. The next area for discussion is a very critical one that we've become all too familiar with speaking on, and that is the latest COVID-19 updates. We are averaging about 158 cases a day in Hinds County. We've been trending at this level since July 30th. For the past week, we have been averaging 2 deaths per day. Adults 50 to 64 years of age or older are our leading group of COVID deaths. The availability of ICU beds is almost non-existent. To say that we are at a critical stage, to say that we are right back in the thick of things would be an understatement. And so we want our residents to be vigilant, continue to adhere to the sanitary recommendations that have been made, but we also want people to become vaccinated. It has become, as Dr. Fauci coined, this has become a pandemic amongst the unvaccinated. Yes, you can still contract the virus if you are vaccinated, but by and large and by far, those that are vaccinated are far better are far more resistant to the ill effects of this pandemic. And so we want our residents to be protected. It is my understanding that soon we will see a Shots in Shops program across the city where we're trying to meet people where they are. I understand that the question of vaccine hesitancy is far more complicated than just one or two instances or scenarios. And there are a number of reasons, but we don't want convenience to be one, and we want people to have and to be armed with the proper information so that they are protected. Once again, the type of science that led to this vaccine is decades old. When you started school, you were vaccinated. When your kids started school, they were vaccinated. This is the same science that led to the vaccine that we're seeing today, and we're hopeful that people will choose to become vaccinated. Hinds County's vaccination rates are now picking up. We have a 48.6 vaccination rate with one shot and a 40.8% fully vaccinated rate. The Delta variant is having a significant effect across our city, across our state, and across our nation. And so we want to be as best prepared as we can. Let me forecast this, all right? I have met with the COVID task force, and we've had a robust discussion about policy that the city wants to implement moving forward to better protect ourselves. I am waiting to review an executive order that was issued to me today. I was in a meeting at the time that it was issued, so I have not had the opportunity to fully review it and to digest it. But I can tell you the spirit of what the executive order carries, and I can tell you what we're looking to do as a City of Jackson policy for our employees. There will be a period of time by which city employees, and I believe 30 days sounds familiar. Like I said, I skimmed the executive order, maybe 60. There will be a period of time by which city employees can become fully vaccinated. And in the alternative, if they are not fully vaccinated, then they have a requirement to present a negative test every week to their supervisor within the city of Jackson. This is a change in our COVID protocol. Extenuating circumstances, there will be exceptions for those as they are met. But what we are preparing for is a change in our COVID protocol as a city that, requires city employees to either be vaccinated or, in the alternative, present a negative test on a frequent basis. If you have any questions, we're prepared to accept those at this time.
Mayor, is there like a date of when that executive order will be, like a specific date will take effect?
I have to look at it. It'll be, you can expect it in the short term. Now, I want to give myself room. Let's say I look at the executive order, we find some challenge or problem with it, then obviously I'm not ready to issue it today because I haven't had the opportunity to review it. I fully expect that it will be executed before the conclusion of this week. And so once it is executed, it will have days or dates outlined within the executive order when certain measures are to take effect. Yes, sir.
Mayor, does the city have any response to the $170,000 fine issued against the city by the Ethics Commission Friday? And can you speak to the various steps and requirements the commission is making the city undertake as a result of this?
What I will say, I never respond to legal matters. I can tell you that the city intends to appeal that decision, and we fully, in fact, we fully expect that it will be favorable to the city once other facts and information is detailed. And so we just look forward to that taking place. But in the spirit of your question, the city looks to improve our efforts in terms of responding to public information requests each and every day. And so there are more individuals that take place in the response of a public information request than one might expect. And so it's a matter of how we increase some efficiencies in some cases. Anything else? Yes.
Mayor, any words on the most recent homicide that happened yesterday, Kennedy Wilson?
Yeah.
Her father is a JFD lieutenant.
Yeah.
Any words on that?
First and foremost, our hearts and prayers go out to the family. I am looking to communicate with our JFD firefighter and offer some words to that firefighter. Obviously, we continue to be concerned about crime that takes place in our city and whatever led to that circumstance taking place. I don't have any details. That would be better placed for our police department. You know, if there's any investigatory information that can be shared, but we will continue to fight this issue from every plane that we can.
Mayor, the governor has said he has no intentions of reinstating a mask mandate. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think we should have a mask mandate statewide?
Well, I can tell you that I plan on keeping our mask mandate. I think that what we're seeing take place, where we're reaching, if not surpassing, some of the critical levels that we were prior to the vaccine, that is the determining factor. It's not really a matter of my opinion versus the next person's opinion. COVID is deciding for us, right? And so if mask is an added feature of defense against the pandemic, then I think that it dictates that we should be wearing masks. I think that it would be helpful if we had uniform policies and procedures from the federal government on down, because we live in interconnected communities, which, you know, what that means in Jackson is that I can literally cross the street to another city in some areas, and if, you know, one protocol is being established on one side of the street versus the other, then it might naturally have some consequences in terms of the spread throughout our communities. I'm concerned about Jackson, of course. That is my responsibility. But I'm concerned about the greater Jackson area, and I'm concerned about Mississippi at large. Jackson is not only our capital city with the largest population. In many respects, we're the capital of healthcare in the state of Mississippi. And so when we're looking at ICU rates, where I'm telling you that there virtually are no ICU beds available in the city of Jackson, we have to take some steps in order to reduce the impact we're seeing. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Once again, I thank our Blight partners and our planning department and everybody who's worked hard to bring us to this point. Thank you.